শুধু দর্শক, একুশে টেলিভিশনের বিশেষ আয়োজন গৌরব ৭১-এ আপনাদেরকে স্বাগতম। মহান মুক্তিযুদ্ধের উপরে ভিত্তি করে এই আয়োজনের মধ্যে আমরা চেষ্টা করছি আমাদের দেশের মুক্তিযোদ্ধাদেরকে আপনাদের সামনে উপস্থিত করে তাদের কাছ থেকে আমরা তাদের যুদ্ধ কাহিনী, তাদের অবদান এবং তাদের ভবিষ্যৎ চিন্তাধারা নিয়ে আলোচনা করার জন্য। এরই ধারাবাহিকতার মধ্যে আজকে আমরা একজন অনন্য সাধারণ অতিথি এসছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে আলাপ করার জন্য। তার নাম হচ্ছে জুলিয়ান ফ্রান্সিস। তার জন্ম ইংল্যান্ডে। একটা চমৎকার তার জীবন কাহিনী। তিনি খুব ভালো বাংলা বুঝেন। বাংলা বলতে কিছু সমস্যা হবে, তাই আমরা কিছু আলোচনা ইংরেজিতে করব, তো সরল ভাষায় করব যেন আমরা সবাই বুঝতে পারি। তাহলে চলুন তার সঙ্গে একটু আলোচনা করে নেই। জুলিয়ান ভাই, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
আমি খুব ভালো।
ধন্যবাদ আপনাকে। In 1971, we are aware that you are a senior officer in Oxfam in India when 98,99,305 refugees entered into India in desperate situation, taking shelter in 825 refugee camps. You stood beside them. You worked relentlessly for 9 months, leaving your family, your comfort, and devoting yourself for the cause of humanity. Please tell us about those days, those difficult days.
Well, I always say to people, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I was already working with the extreme poor in India, and then when the refugees from Bangladesh started coming, Oxfam received reports from organizations they were assisting in the border areas, but nobody believed the numbers that were coming in telegrams. And so we were asked to move to Calcutta and then visit the border areas and actually verify whether 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 were crossing a day at one particular crossing point. And that's how everything started as far as different relief organizations were concerned. And so it was very difficult to know where to start, but gradually we, with very strong connections with Gandhian organizations, we were able to organize a large number of volunteers, and then something quite remarkable with the Calcutta medical colleges, we managed to arrange officially that the interns and final year medical students, supervised by fully qualified doctors, would come into the refugee camps to provide service, and that their work would be officially regarded as part of their MBBS practical work, which was something quite extraordinary and very, it was a very practical demonstration of support from the Calcutta University.
Thank you. That means you were not only involved in giving humanitarian assistance, food, clothing, etc., but you are also involved in giving treatment to the people and also making a correct assessment of the situation in Bangladesh so that world community comes to know how much damage has been done, how much support is required. Am I right?
Well, that's right. And then we were also receiving a lot of highly qualified people were coming over as refugees, like professors from Dhaka University. So they were giving a lot of very accurate information, and gradually with that sort of information and what was being learnt from UN sources, it was estimated that not only nearly 10 million refugees came to India, but 20 million were internally displaced inside Bangladesh, which is something that wasn't apparent at that time.
The number was very high, terrific, and then sufferings were too many. But amidst all these situations, there was a tremendous effort to help the suffering humanity from the side of the Indian people, Indian political leaders, their forces, and also their political leaders. That's what we have found out in the border areas.
Yeah, that's right, and there was a lot of sympathy.
Sympathy, yeah.
Not just because they were Bengali people suffering, but it was just humanitarian. But at the same time, we had to be sensitive to the people in India who were poor as well.
Okay.
So we were able to make sure that if, for instance, we had medical facilities, they were not just for the refugees from Bangladesh, but if people came from the local areas, obviously they were treated as well. But the political leadership was, of course, headed by the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, but we had close connections through the Gandhian network with people like Jayaprakash Narayan, who, at the request of Indira Gandhi, went on a trip around a number of countries in Europe, raising the picture, which was not. There were too many countries that said, "Oh, this is an internal problem of Pakistan. We will stay out of it." But so it took a long time to change people's attitudes.
Thank you. Now you have done tremendous work, very hard work for 9 months. The liberation was achieved, and we hear that you didn't finish there. You climbed on the refugees' trucks and buses and took them to the villages also and tried to rehabilitate them, and for which Bangabandhu was informed and invited him to his house. Let's have that story from you.
Yeah, we came overland in the middle of January 1972, about 10 days after Bangabandhu had returned, yes, so we travelled in our own Land Rover, but we were also travelled with some of the refugees returning. Of course, a huge number walking, and at the border areas, they had been provided sort of packets of dry food to sustain them till they got home, but we were able to see the immense damage. Hundreds of villages burnt down, and bridges, culverts blown up, and ferries, launches sunk. So the enormity of the problems that were going to be faced by Bangladesh was pretty obvious.
So your meeting with Bangabandhu.
Well, yes, I remember going, the meeting was arranged by Tajuddin, actually, who had met me a few times in Calcutta. So there were hundreds of people queuing up to see Bangabandhu, so I didn't expect more than a minute or two, or like a courtesy call, but obviously Tajuddin had briefed Bangabandhu a little bit about what we had been trying to do, and so I said I wanted his advice about what a small organization like Oxfam, what we could do, and and he said, well, how did you come here? What did you see? You've seen more of my country than I have, because I've been in jail for the last 9 months. So what do you think my country needs? Which was the way a very smart politician talks like that. And so I was able to say about what we saw, and I said bridges and ferries would be something for bilateral or multilateral assistance. And he said, no, ferries are the lifeblood of our nation, and if you can't buy new ones, see if you can help repair many of the ones that can be repaired. So eventually we were able to raise money to repair a huge number and provide 3 ferries, until a few years ago still running in
Please tell
Mawa.
the names. Please tell the name of the ferries.
Kamani, Kasturi, and Korobi.
Korobi. Kameni, Kasturi, Korobi. Beautiful names. And we saw them in 72, 73 also. That was a tremendous help to Bangladesh, because the food was distributed through these ferries and through these repaired ferries also. And they had really avoided a lot of catastrophe for the people, right? So Julian bhai, after Bangladesh, you went to many countries, then you retired. Then you came back to Bangladesh again.
No, well, not exactly, but I came, I was working for 15 years in India, and then I came here for 7 years in 1985. And I remember very much coming at that time, because remembering Joy Bangla at the liberation time, I made the mistake of saying Joy Bangla at that time.
85.
Yeah, and I was told, don't say that.
Okay,
And
because anti-Joy Bangla, but anti-liberation forces were controlling the country at that time. They even stopped you from telling Joy Bangla.
yeah, that's right.
Isn't it a shame? I think so.
A great shame.
Great shame, definitely.
and,
That was our battle cry.
Yes.
That was our liberation cry.
And if people remember being a refugee in the refugee camps, there was an epidemic, not of cholera, that was of course there, there was conjunctivitis.
And they used to call it Joy Bangla disease.
They called it Joy Bangla.
Yeah. So, and after that,
Then I came back again 23 years ago to work with the Red Cross and some extreme poverty programs. And I finally sort of retired, or semi-retired, 9 years ago.
so Julian bhai, we take a small break now, then we come back to your latest work process and your other awards and all that. Thank you for being with us. শুধু দর্শক, এতক্ষণ আমরা বাংলাদেশের বিশেষ বন্ধু জুলিয়ান ফ্রান্সিসের সাথে কথা বলছিলাম। তিনি 1971 সনে বহু মানুষের জীবন বাঁচিয়েছেন, এদেশে মানুষকে সাহায্য করেছেন, কল্যাণের কাজ করেছেন, আজও করছেন। একটু বিরতি নেই, তারপর এসে আমরা আবার আলাপ করব জুলিয়ান ফ্রান্সিস ভাইয়ের সঙ্গে। আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন।
হাসির জন্য অস্ত্র ধরি,
শুধু দর্শক, আবার আমরা ফেরত আসলাম গৌরব 71 অনুষ্ঠানে। আলোচনা করছিলাম বাংলাদেশের অকৃত্রিম বন্ধু জুলিয়ান ফ্রান্সিসের সঙ্গে। জুলিয়ান ভাই, so you are very demoralized when you came to know that you cannot speak Joy Bangla here anymore, the battle cry, our identity. And I'm sure you had a lot of pain in your heart when you heard about the sad demise of Bangabandhu and his family members. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Well, that was when I was in working with Oxfam, based in New Delhi, and that day actually with my family I was watching the television of the Independence Day ceremony at the Red Fort in Delhi. That was on the television. Then the television program was interrupted with this tragic news of the assassination of Bangabandhu. They didn't give all the details at that time, but I was quite shocked.
After Honorable Sheikh Hasina was democratically elected, she came to Bangladesh. You came to Bangladesh and you worked for some time in different organizations. So, and then of course she and her government was very pleased to give you citizenship of Bangladesh for your glorious role in 71 in the field of humanitarian activities and helping the poor people. So how do you feel about that?
Well, it's a very unique experience, because I was told on that particular day that I was the 7th foreigner who had been honored in that way with full citizenship. A number have been honored with honorary citizenship. So I mean, it was quite a remarkable day, and by coincidence, the then British High Commissioner was there, and Roshanara Ali, a current Member of Parliament in the UK, she was on a visit here. So it was quite a...
Yeah, I was there along with you.
That's
also.
right, yes.
Yeah. So, and coming back to that thinking, that you kept on helping the poor, giving humanitarian service, and ultimately you are awarded with the very respected award of UK, that is OBE, Order of the British Empire. Can you tell me a little about that?
Well, that is also an honor and respect. I've been implementing a number of programs funded by the British aid program, so they have followed my experiences and my work, and officially the citation was for services to development in Bangladesh. So
Great.
It was very specific.
Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has also awarded you with the honor of Friends of Bangladesh. So many hats to wear at one time: a citizenship of the country, declared Friend of Bangladesh, and also OBE.
Well, yes, very overwhelming, and particularly as the citizenship plus the OBE was within a few months of each other. But the Friends of Liberation War Honour, which was awarded in 2012 in different batches, but we were one of the early batches, and it was quite a remarkable gesture, because I don't think any country has ever said thank you in that way to
But Bangladesh
people.
does.
Yeah, no, I mean, quite amazing.
Yeah, and thank you for that remembrance. That and then the people of Bangladesh are very grateful to you, definitely, for all the help you have done to them in the dark days, the days of suffering and humiliation and torture. Being a friend of Bangladesh and OBE, citizen of this country, and you live in Bangladesh with the common people, and at this age also you continue to do humanitarian service with your own capacity. Do you have any message for the next generation of Bangladesh, the new generation of Bangladesh?
Well, I think what is very important, and I keep saying that, is that the younger generation, and I'm told that 75% of the population were probably born after 1971, but that they must know the pain that everybody or many people went through at that time, because people who get awards like me, that actually it was the freedom fighters and the people who struggled at that time who are in a way far bigger heroes, and they should be awarded or remembered. And I think it's very important that the history books are really accurately maintained, because I think they have sometimes been altered, and that's very sad. And so
You mean the true history of liberation war must be reflected in the curriculum books?
Absolutely. I mean, I often say that the progress, we wrote reports in March 1972 wondering whether Bangladesh will survive as a nation state. Well, not only survive, but the progress has been quite remarkable, and could have been more remarkable if certain tragedies hadn't happened on the way. So that progress and is quite remarkable, but it's very important to know the blood that was shed to build the foundations of the country.
Thank you. Thank you, Julian Bhai, for the convenience of the audience. I will translate your feelings in Bangla. শুধু দর্শক, এতক্ষণ আমরা আলোচনা করলাম সম্মানিত ব্যক্তি একজন আমাদের সঙ্গে আছেন, জুলিয়ান ফ্রান্সিস। তিনি বাংলাদেশের নাগরিক, ফ্রেন্ড অফ বাংলাদেশ সরকার তাকে ডিক্লেয়ার করেছেন। তিনি অর্ডার অফ ব্রিটিশ এম্পায়ার পেয়েছেন, খুবই উচ্চ একটা সম্মাননা। তিনি আমাদের নতুন প্রজন্মের উদ্দেশ্যে বললেন, আমাদের নতুন প্রজন্ম জানতে হবে কত ত্যাগ, তিতিক্ষা, রক্তক্ষরণের মাধ্যমে এ দেশটা স্বাধীন করেছে এদেশের মানুষ এবং মুক্তিযোদ্ধারা। তিনি আরও বলেছেন, এইসব তথ্য যদি তারা ভুলে যায় তাহলে ইতিহাস বিকৃত হবে। তিনি আরও বলেছেন যে বাংলাদেশ এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। তারা ৭১-এ মনে করতেন বিদেশিরা অনেকেই যে এই দেশ দাঁড়াতে পারবে না কোনো দিনও। কিসিঞ্জার সাহেব এই কথাই বলেছেন। তাদের রেকর্ডে এরকম ছিল, কিন্তু বাংলাদেশ অভূতপূর্বভাবে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। তিনি এই ব্যাপারে খুবই সন্তুষ্ট। তিনি আরও বলেছেন, মুক্তিযুদ্ধের কাহিনী, গণহত্যার কাহিনী এবং মানুষের আত্মত্যাগের কাহিনীগুলো কারিকুলাম বই বা স্কুলের শিক্ষার বইয়ে যেন অন্তর্ভুক্ত করা হয় সঠিকভাবে, তাহলে নতুন প্রজন্ম তথ্য জানতে পারবে এবং ভালো নাগরিক হিসাবে নিজেদের গড়ে তুলবে। আমরা এই অনুষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে জুলিয়ান ভাইকে আবার ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। অনেক কষ্ট করে তিনি এই অনুষ্ঠানে এসেছেন। জুলিয়ান ভাই, we thank you for being present with us and giving us your valuable advice to us and to new generation of Bangladesh. We are very grateful to you. Do you have any final comments?
না, খালি খুব ধন্যবাদ।
খুব ধন্যবাদ, ধন্যবাদ।
A very moving experience.
উনি বলছেন তিনি খুব ইমোশনাল হয়ে গেছেন যে এইসব কথা আলাপ করে, ৭১-এর স্মৃতি, বঙ্গবন্ধুর স্মৃতি, গণহত্যার স্মৃতি একত্রে। ধন্যবাদ জুলিয়ান ভাই, আপনাকে আমাদের সঙ্গে আসার জন্য। জয় হোক আপনাদের মতো বিশাল মনের মানুষদের, যারা মানুষের কল্যাণে জীবন উৎসর্গ করেছে। সর্বশেষে বলতে চাই, জয় বাংলা, জয় বঙ্গবন্ধু। সবাইকে প্রীতির শুভেচ্ছা।